Hey there, my fellow YouTubers. How are you guys doing there? Now, first things first, I really want to appreciate you guys out there for supporting my channel and subscribing. And I really hope my videos that I'm making are actually helping you guys out there learn a few things when it comes to financial advice, okay? So that's why I always say, be sure to leave me a comment down below or anything, just to make sure you guys have any questions or anything, okay? I want to make sure you guys make sure that these videos are actually helping you out there, okay? But anyways, guys, welcome back to another video. And on today's video, today is my 7 points on how to pick a stock, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure some of you already know when it comes to picking a stock, it's not quite the easiest thing in the world out there, okay? Because if you didn't know, there's nearly almost 4,000 different stocks you can choose from just here in the US alone. Now, around the world, there's nearly like 15,000 different stocks, but that'll be for a different later time or something. So let's just focus on here alone, okay? Now, point one, this one's fairly simple. Buy what you know, guys, okay? Look at the things you use on a daily basis, what you wear, what you eat, what do you use, for, I don't know, what do you sleep in, what kind of cars you drive, all that type of stuff. Look at the things you will constantly be using for the next few years, and that'll give you already a hint of what you might want to be buying into, okay? So, like I said, this one was fairly simple. Number two, check its PE ratio, or price to earnings ratio. Now, to come up with this, you simply divide a company's share price by its net income, okay? Now, relatively, a PE of around or below 15 is usually a pretty cheap stock. And anything above 20, it might be a little bit too expensive. Now, just because the stock is cheap doesn't necessarily mean it's a great stock to buy either, okay? Same with if it's too expensive. If it's too expensive, that's usually not a good thing either, because most cheap stocks are going to be too volatile also, okay? Take penny stocks, for example. Those are rarely, really cheap, but they're also really risky. And as for an expensive stock, it might not even be worth that price at the moment, okay? Eventually it's going to end up coming into a correction, fixing the price that it should be. And if you invested it when it was too high, you might end up losing money during that time. But anyways, that's my number two. Number three, research its financial reports, okay? Now, all public companies have to legally, release their annually and quarterly reports on how they're performing, okay? So you want to make sure you look into these, see how they're doing, they're keeping up, well with their companies and everything. And that'll usually help you, determine if it's doing pretty good or if it's worth your time to invest in also, okay? And to check that, just check into the, I think, investor relations section of their websites or something. So be sure to check that also, okay, guys? Now, number four, check for revenue growth, okay? Make sure they're bringing some type of profit in, okay? On a yearly basis. Make sure their profit is increasing every year, okay? That'll show that they're performing really well, that they're able to meet, their expectations and your expectations as well to you investors out there. So that's fairly simple. Number five, and this one's probably one of the most important ones. Know how much debt a company has, guys, okay? Make sure you know how much debt company has, because if they have way too much debt, then they are profiting, then that might not be a good sign, because they might never even pay off that debt, or it's going to be a real struggle. They're going to start cutting off certain things just to be able to pay off that debt, okay? So make sure you're keeping up to date with that, okay? Also, check its competitors. See if it's not taking out too much debt compared to all its other, competitors out there, okay? If it's taking out way too much than unusual, that might be a red flag to keep a check on that stock also, okay? So be careful with that. Number six, dividends. Now, this one's really optional to you guys, okay? And I say it's optional because, well, for one, if you don't know what a dividend is, it's when a company basically pays you just for holding their stocks, okay? They release a certain date on which you have a certain time to buy those shares, and then once the deadline reaches, you can't, even if you buy after that, you won't receive the dividend for that, I don't know, quarterly period or monthly period, whatever it may be. And then they'll release a date also on when you'll be receiving that dividend, okay? So that's pretty cool. You know, you're getting paid just to hold that stock on top of you getting your increase for holding that stock also. So, but again, this is optional because not all stocks also pay dividends, okay? Take for example, Amazon. They don't pay dividends, okay? Now, just because a company doesn't pay dividends doesn't mean it's usually a bad thing, okay? There's companies that pay dividends and they're not performing so well right now, okay? So usually when a company doesn't pay a dividend, it could go either way, okay? They're either performing really badly, so they have to cut that off just to pay off debt or something like that, or they're using that money to reinvest in themselves, like Amazon, for example, in order to, you know, perform better, you know, I don't know, come up with new different things every year. So they're using their money to reinvest back into their company, which means better making money for you also for holding that share, because you're going to be making the money also, okay? So be sure to check on that also. Now, number 7, probably the most important one on here, it's check its leaders, guys, okay? When you're investing into a certain stock, check the leader of that company. How are they doing, you know? How are they able to manage, you know, their employees, the company, you know, its financial, everything, you know, just everything, you know? Take, for example, Amazon. Again, Jeff Bezos, guys, look at him. He's taken Amazon from the floor, you know, through the roof in the past years. He's basically taken everything worldwide with his company, okay? That's an example leader right here that I'm mentioning, okay? He's taking that company, like I said, through the roof. So be sure to check on these guys' leaders, because some of these leaders aren't doing really well, you know? Let's take General Electric, for example. Over the past year, its stock market price has nearly gone down, like, I think 60% or something. You know, pretty crazy. But anyways, guys, these are my 7, you know, points on how to pick a stock. I hope these points can help you guys out there pick a stock so you guys can start investing. Because again, guys, don't waste your time not investing, okay? Go ahead and do it. Don't be scared. So hopefully these will help you guys determine how to pick a stock. Maybe, you know, make it a little easier also. You know, these help me pick a stock because, again, there's thousands of companies you can invest from, okay? But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you like this video, give it a likes up. If you got any questions or concerns, or maybe something that you might have, you know, came up with when you research, leave it down in the comments down below, you know. Let others know what you know. And if you haven't, guys, already, hit that subscribe button, okay? I really appreciate you guys' support out there. Remember, for every subscription I get, I'm putting $1 into a Roth IRA account I made just for this specific channel, okay? So be sure to check out that video also.